About what is the draw on ETFs, what kind of ETFs seem to be working. Have you sensed any outflows most recently with some of the volatility, even though the markets are right near the highs? Are you sensing any outflows right now too?
So for our platform, no, but I
think how you said, ETFs were not really a thing. And then they really came on, big time. And it's active versus passive. Have you found that the actively managed ETFs, which ones, what kind of things are people looking for? I mean, just don't say, what's really happening in active? Why do people want those?
Yeah, so I've been in the ETF industry for over 12 years.
Everybody's always looking for something tax efficient, right? I mean, what percentage of the folks, most of them are probably asking for that, right? What are some of the things that work? What do you recommend to them?
So that's by far, in our opinion, this boost of active.
So when we think about fixed income ETFs, right? Because there's so many thematic ETFs. So let's break it down a little bit. Fixed income ETFs, what seems to be working?
Right now, we're seeing this ultra short bond category continue to catch interest, and this is more of a
record year for inflows for ETFs next year?
100%.
Oh, very serious. Joining me here on set, it is my pleasure to have two esteemed guests from our team. And joining me here from the Charles Schwab team, Kevin Gordon, Head of Income Research and Strategy, Schwab Center for Financial Research. It's great to see you both. Thank you so much for being here. So Colin, I'll start with you. Just maybe a big picture thought on how we're going. We're near the end of the year. We've had a lot of sort of juggling happening and some fears in the market, but really we're only 2% off the highs. Some of your thoughts?
Sure. If we take a step back, if we look at it from a big picture standpoint, and what we're looking at with the bond market is the economy still kind of chugging along? Is the labor market loosening? Is inflation rising or falling?
And Kevin, it's great to see you. I haven't seen you in a while as well. We think about what's going on here, and you talk about TINA even. Is that back?
Well, it's back for data. So there's no alternative for federal government data. So to Colin's point about being in this, data drought, there is a lot that we're missing in terms of having this impaired vision of, being able to see what the actual underlying services, but then what's also been struggling, which is manufacturing.
And I do want to talk about third quarter earnings season, where you said bending, not breaking. That's catchy, and I'd like you to explain that. But hold the thought for a moment, Colin, as we take a look here at the big picture and we look at what's going on when it comes to bonds, and you see the 10-year bond yield moving higher. I mean, it happened last time the Fed cut rates that in the end the 10-year bond yield went higher. And look at us here again. What do you think when you think about for bond investors, what the Fed may do? What is the anticipation here for what happens in fixed income?
Well, it's important related, but we would say that paying attention to how much tariffs get passed now to consumers as we round the corner into 2026, which we think has to happen at some point, just because companies can't work on that inventory cushion as long. That's one thing we'd be watching for as we turn the corner.
So wonderful to have your perspective, General. I wish I could have you both on every day. So nice to see you both. Kevin Gordon, Colin Martin, thank you both. Bequith seem more concerned. They were originally more concerned about labor. And now they start to talk about inflation again. And this shows this, right? I mean, this is what this shows. We'll talk about ADP in a moment, but now there seems to be a shift, and the Fed is going to have that Federal Open Market Committee deciding monetary policy, and they may be scratching their heads again.
They might be. I mean, if you look at the ADP report from this morning.
In what's happening, because you have fewer in the immigration status, right? And then you have the labor force participation rate. You have the older folks retiring, companies, small businesses saying they're looking to hire. The large companies are doing more than the smaller companies. The tariffs and maybe other elements could be affecting the smaller companies. So there's a lot of shift going on that may take some time. That 42,000 number, what's the Goldilocks number, has been a conversation that folks are having pertaining to labor.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I mean, if you look at the labor market just in...
We don't know exactly the long-term effects of this government shutdown. Yeah. I mean, each time is different. I know the last one was 35 days, but we're in a different time. Yeah. What happens now?
And last one was a partial shutdown. We have to also remember that.
I think about what's going on with the TSA. How will it affect the airlines? You're starting to hear some horrific possibilities. I don't know if it's... I'm not in the business, but obviously it shows already that we may have some real glut when it comes to the holidays. Moving on, I wanted to talk about what we've been seeing in earnings season, which for the most part, we've been seeing more companies here beating the street, right? I mean, it's been over 80% success, right?
Yeah, so we are beating the obviously the 5-year average.
Before I let you go, Bitcoin. Can we just touch on that?
Yeah.
Because everybody's been seeing, obviously, it's been a risk-off environment the last 24 hours. Now what?
Now, so you look at Bitcoin, look at it from a technical standpoint. 100,000 is obviously a psychological level. It is.
I know you have a list of stock picks that we will go through.
Yeah.
But are you telling them to sort of stay the course now?
Well, I mean, look, I think over the long term, being invested in the market, obviously.
Some of the names here. I know you have ITT, for example. Tell me
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah, so ITT is an industrial supplier. They do a lot of different things industrial.
And I'm looking here at the chart, year to date up about 30%. So this kind of pick, for example, how much room does it have to the upside? When you do picks, how much room are you looking for?
Yeah, usually we're looking for a 30% or greater margin of safety over, say, a 2 to 3 year time horizon.
see.
We're long-term investors.
Okay.
But I think in the near term,
I see MTech, and I'm seeing a lot of price targets here, 246, 220, 205, 230 from Oppenheimer, and this stock is just under $200. Tell me a little bit about AME.
yeah, Amitech, it's over 40 billion market cap, but really
Also see SXT, which is Sensient, and PM, which is Philip Morris. Tell me about one of those.
sure. So consumer sector's been under a lot of pressure.